in New York City with the intention of giving an opportunity to people in all cultures, people who speak every language of the world, to have access to the process of devotional service or bhakti yoga, especially as inculcated by the literatures known broadly as the Vedas, and most specifically the Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada had inaugurated his movement. He got traction in New York, San Francisco, and several other cities, and then it spread to Europe. And when he had gone to London and was interviewed upon his arrival, the reporter asked why he had come to England, and he said that the British had been in India for over 200 years, and they had taken many things from India. He said, but you forgot one thing. You forgot to take the Bhagavad Gita. So I've come here to give you what you forgot to take. Which reminds me, once my friend, a god brother, whose father bought him a new car in St. Louis, Missouri, where we lived, and we needed a car to go back and forth to do our service, which at that time was at Lambert Field, the airport in St. Louis. And yeah, it was a Caprice Classic. His father worked for Ford, and he got him that car. We kept a lot of books in the trunk. Several cases of the Bhagavad Gita were always there. And there were quite a few other things in the car because we practically lived out of it, driving back and forth. And one morning I noticed that instead of his car being parked in the parking lot, there was just a little pile of glass. That means that somebody broke the window and stole the car. So I called him up. He lived across the street from the temple, and told him that his car had apparently been purloined. And we got it back a couple weeks later. Someone had taken it for a joyride, and they also stripped everything in the car that was sellable anywhere else. But the only thing they left were the books in the trunk. This reminds me at one period of history when we were young people and going regularly to public places, especially the airport. I practically grew up in airports. And as we were distributing books like Bhagavad Gita and certain cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam, people noticed that we were young, and they also thought we were young and dumb because they used to ask us regularly, why don't you go get a regular job? And it turned into a situation where oftentimes when we would show a Bhagavad Gita to somebody, they would abruptly grab it and walk away with it, with a sense of satisfaction that they had gotten one over on a Hare Krishna. And we mentioned it to Prabhupada in Vrindavan in 1975 that this was going on. His response was, lucky thief. Those people who stole the car weren't so lucky. They took radio, they took the contents of our bags, whatever were in there, but they left the books. Too bad for them. As Srila Prabhupada had painstakingly expanded the Krishna consciousness movement to many places around the world and traveled extensively. Any of you who travel, especially air travel, it can be exhausting, right? Any of you just get back? Still have jet lag? It's not easy, and he started when he was in his 70s and went all the way up to his 80s. A few notes. And so it's remarkable that there are places all over the world where one can come and get instruction about how to practice devotional service. And also get association. It's equally as important because it's hard to do things alone, to have discipline when you're all by yourself, or even worse, when you're with people who are doing other things and aren't interested in devotional service. It may run contrary to your practice, right? Yeah. So we are so grateful that he had started a society that everyone could be part of and take advantage of. And so here we are. May I have a Bhagavad Gita, by the way? So, as I mentioned, the Bhagavad Gita is one of the main books of the Hare Krishna movement. It's one of the main books of any spiritual practice. For it's a non-sectarian book. It has nothing to do with being a Hindu or... Krishna's not a religious fanatic. He's giving us clear and helpful information for us to develop a perspective, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. So I'm going to tell you what happened when I was on my walk this morning. One of my walks. I go on several walks a day. And should I be that vulnerable and tell you what I was thinking? Yes. All right. Well, I wrote it down, luckily for me, because I wouldn't remember exactly. I said, as I was thinking about things and about my life and about duties I had to do, and there can be some sense of angst in thinking about so many things. Yes or yes? Yes. So we have a lot to do. We're not sure how we're going to get them all done, or if we're going to do them in the proper way, or if we even know how to do them, or if we even want to do them. So all those things converge in the life of a normal human. It's complex. And this thought grew in me. It has actually been growing over the last few days, but it came to a conclusion as of walking. I never leave my house or anywhere else. I didn't even go to another room without my pad and paper, because I always have to have a place for my ideas to land. And it's the greatest tragedy for me if I get an idea and then I think, and then I'm lazy for half a second and I think I'll get it later. I don't want to go back in. And then later it's gone. And you tell somebody, I saw a UFO, and they go, yeah, right, sure. You got to get a picture of it. So same thing, it's important to get a picture of your thoughts when they come, especially if you're practicing devotional service, because writing down one's thoughts means that you can consolidate your realizations and act on them, which is really important, because integration of the ideas that we have in the Bhagavad Gita into our lifestyle is vital. It's not that we isolate and we have a life separate from our practice, our spiritual practice. Our life is our spiritual practice. And therefore, catching the ideas that come, metaphors, for instance, when you see something's analogous with something that relates to Krishna, that can be very helpful. In fact, you'll find that throughout the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna gives analogies. Can you think of one right at the top of your head? A boat on water, a candle flame, a turtle, a what? A tortoise, a lotus. I did a presentation at Salesforce a couple of years ago, and it was all analogies from the Bhagavad Gita. And those are useful. In fact, I read a book about analogies and metaphor, and the claim of the author, and I agreed with him after I finished the book, the world's run by metaphors. If you have the right metaphor, you can create change and improvement and bridges. If you get the wrong metaphor, you can derail yourself. Anyway, this isn't a metaphor, but this was a process of thinking that relates to perspective. And I'm going to talk about perspective also because, I mean, where's the word come from, actually? It comes from art history. Per means through, and spectere means to look through something. And how does it relate to art history? People started experimenting with art and drawing, and they discovered much that they could use in their in life, metaphors, for instance. And the invention of perspective came in Renaissance art. Filippo Brunelleschi in 1420 developed a linear perspective, and everyone's heard the names of Da Vinci and Raphael, right? Say yes. Because you just heard about them, and if you hadn't heard them before, you can still say yes. There are three major discoveries that they had: vantage point, horizon line, and vanishing point. These are all terms that deal with drawing, painting, and the history of art. Does anybody here study art history? Yeah, right. Sure, Vaish. These observations of art and observing art, which are subsumed, these points, under the concept of perspective, to look through something and see something that's valuable. These 3 points, vantage point, horizon line, and vanishing points, lead to a metaphor or understanding of how humans receive reality in general. And I wrote this quotation down from some of the research I was doing that says, life events are like objects in a painting. When we stand too close to them, emotionally or mentally, they appear overwhelming and distorted. So how does that relate to art? There's the principle of the vanishing point. Is anybody familiar with this term? If you stand on a railroad track, you know about it, and you look at the railroad track going off into the distance, you'll notice that it converges into one point. Or if you look at any complex scene, the farther you can see, the smaller the items become, and there is a point at which they become one-pointed and contained within one area. That's called the vanishing point. They all meet in one place. Of course, if you're looking down a railroad tracks and it appears to get narrower, that's not physically what's happening, because hopefully. But it's perspective. And one of the life lessons that the Bhagavad Gita gives is about perspective. So that's just a setup, idea of perspective, where it comes from, and so forth. And now I'm going to read you what I wrote. I stopped in the middle of the sidewalk and wrote it down. Pretend you're dead. And now, as an observer of your past life, you're going about correcting anything you did wrong and collecting the lessons and compiling the things you did right. I had this visceral sense of what would it be like to just not be so close to everything that's happening that I feel overwhelmed by it and see all the complexity of it. And one of the perspectives Krishna gives in the Bhagavad Gita, let me see if I can connect this for you, is at 271. A person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, who lives free from desires, who has given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid of false ego, he alone can attain real peace. Now, how does that relate with being dead? I mean, I've jokingly said before, due to certain periods in my life when the duties I was performing seemed so rigorous. Someone once asked me, I remember I had just arrived at Govardhan Hill, ready for our annual retreat there, and they said, how is it being temple president? And I said, it's really nice because I don't mind dying. The idea of death sounds pretty good. And if we carry that further and just imagine, and I think I was ruminating on these things because recently several of my godbrothers just passed. I mean, I had my really good friend Paramhamsa, who lived up north, and his wife I was communicating with him in the day, and his wife wrote the next morning and said, he just left. Took 60 seconds. And then other friends, godbrothers, had departed. Bhadra Narayan Maharaj, I mentioned yesterday, he just left in his sleep, or he may have been sleeping or not, but he was in Vrindavan and he just left. Ranjit left. Ekanath, I list a lot of people, and I was thinking, boy, they're making it look easy. And then I was thinking, well, what's it like for them now? And dealing with all their duties. I was like, well, they don't have any. And I thought, well, that's an advantageous position to be in, to step back from the perspective that I own all these things. And that's what Krishna does here. He says, the person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, which is this sense of mamata. It's all my stuff. I have my intellectual property. In the academic world, Radhika Raman was telling us, these very genius people that he works with, he said, they can give up everything. They live like sages. Except for one thing, they can't give up their intellectual property. They're so attached to it, they'll die for it. And it's the normal condition, or I should say abnormal condition, of those souls who live in a material body to think, this is my body, and everything related to my body is mine. Mamata, it's all mine. This is called ahankar, false ego. We actually have nothing to do with this body. And at one point, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Utkramantam stitam vapi bhunjanam bhagunanvitam. You're going to, utkramantam, you're going to step out of your body. And as I see my colleagues, friends, loved ones, my parents are gone, stepping out, I think, okay, well, that's what everybody does. And Krishna is preparing us in the Bhagavad Gita, Yajatasya. He says, if you're born, hi dhruvo mrityur, it's dhruva, it's fixed that you're counting down to dying. And I recall a meme that Keshav Maharaj put up, really simple memes he puts on Facebook and elsewhere, and one of them said that when people die, everyone acts really surprised. He said, but it's the only dhruvor, it's the only fixed thing. Everything else you could be surprised about, but not all of a sudden dying, because that's what's going to happen. And so this isn't macabre, it's reality. It's coming to a perspective, a different perspective, where there's a vanishing point, where you take yourself out of the position of the doer. And for me, the perspective of saying, okay, just pretend you're dead. And then think of, now deal with everything that was there in your life. And I felt a sense of relief that I'm dealing with everything in a dispassionate way, and just moving from one duty to the next, planning for other things, and thinking, okay, I'm looking back at what my life was, and I'm stepping away from the ownership of it, but now I'm putting together all those things that needed to be put together, but in a dispassionate way. And I'm also extracting dispassionately any of the lessons that I could take from this opportunity of being a soul in a body interacting with the world. These are not original thoughts. I mean, it was an original thought I just gave you that I was walking down the sidewalk and I wrote it down. That really did happen. And I still feel like that now. It's lasted all day long, that perspective. And I can say it was very refreshing. But I was doing a little research about the idea because I had heard somebody attribute the idea of die to live to Immanuel Kant, the philosopher. Well, AI didn't agree with me. He said, well, not exactly. That's not what he said. But there are other people who said the same thing, and here are a few of them. One of the Stoics, which is a group of philosophers, said, let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. It's an old thought. The Sufis, die before you die. Immanuel Kant, this is AI's opinion. Didn't take time to go into all the details, but his is related. He said, act from duty independent of personal inclination. This is very Bhagavad Gita-esque. He said, detach from outcomes. Make sure your intention is pure and sincere. But detach from the outcomes. Because what can we do other than our best effort in each circumstance? It's a kind of dying, giving up the false ego that I control this and I own it. And that's our problem, as Krishna presents in the Bhagavad Gita. The process, a process, or part of the process of devotional service is to refine our perspective by reflection. Look at our lives and see how we're interacting with the world and what our intentions are, and refine those intentions. It's a great lesson, has been a great lesson for me to learn. Here's something I've noticed from incidents in my life. Every incident is the beginning of a consequence. We are consequential because we're conscious beings, and everything we do and all the interactions we have, the thoughts we have, and how we express ourselves to others, there's always a consequence. And think about the word, like on Sesame Street, how they would break it up. Sequence. There's an unfoldment of a series of events that happen because of the way that I interact with the world. If you throw a stone in the water, then there's ripples. It's well known, right? Both things, the stone and also the consequence for action. What I've noted is the intention with which I do something is all important. For instance, let's just say I make an investment. Somebody entices me to make an investment somewhere. Has that ever happened to you? And they say, you can't lose, and this is, you're going to miss out, blah, blah, blah. If there's a molecule of attachment or greed, thinking, oh, somehow I'll beat the system and I'll enjoy because I got more than everyone else, I got in on the investment. I'm not saying you can't invest, but I'm making a point that if you notice in yourself a sense of greed or personal interest in that circumstance or any other circumstance, then the consequence is going to lead to entanglement in the world. So in this verse, Krishna is saying, a person who has given up all desires for sense gratification, someone, well, how are we going to be happy giving up all desires for sense gratification? We're happy by nature. It's the idea of sense gratification that makes us unhappy. because it's a false pursuit. In fact, the definition of a material desire is a desire you can never fulfill. Meditate on that one. Okay? Krishna says, who lives free from desires. It's like, where are you living right now? Well, I'm living on my own, free from desires. What happened to all your desire friends? I live free from them nowadays. And who has, he's describing the person who's in this refined consciousness, refined state of consciousness, Krishna consciousness, who has given up all sense of proprietorship. Proprietorship. Need a research department. Propriety, the idea that something belongs to me. He's given up all sense of proprietorship. Antithetical to the great American thrust towards crushing socialism and every person for him or herself in this world, and be an owner and invest and so forth. But this has to do with our interaction with the world itself and our understanding of what our purpose is here. So someone who's given up all sense of proprietorship and is devoid, that means there's nothing there of false ego. Such a person alone can attain real peace. I'm thinking of a verse from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that says, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. And the first line is, Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. So a Krishna Bhakta is one who thinks in terms of serving Krishna. That all my senses are meant to serve Krishna, and everything in the universe is paraphernalia to be used in Krishna's service. This is Krishna Bhakta Nishkam. So kam means material desire in this context, and Nishkam means they don't have any material desire, because material desire means I want it for me. Atta eva shanta means that therefore that person is what? Shanta. Yes. When's the last time you felt completely peaceful? Okay, forget it. Bhukti mukti siddhi kami sakali ashanta. This means that if you want something, and he names 3 categories of people. Bhukti means I need material goods. I have to upgrade my environment. Again, well, anyway, just the point is attachment to the sense objects for one's own purposes. Bhukti, mukti, and then the person who says, I'm taking my bat and ball and going home. Do you have that here? Do you have that in the culture of cricket? In baseball, it's like you're the kid, you've got the bat, you've got the ball, and then if you don't like the way the game's going, then we used to say you take your bat and ball and go home. But it's a cricket bat too, so you could do that in cricket also. Huh? All right. This is mukti. Like, I really don't like how I'm being treated in the material world, so forget the whole thing, and I quit, and I'm taking my bat and ball and going home. Bhukti mukti. And then siddhi means there's a lot to exploit in this world, so I'm going to really invest my consciousness in the technology of the world. We've duplicated the mystic cities through technology. That's why we're so fascinated by them. That's why everyone lines up to get a new this or that to see, what's it going to do now? These are cities. They used to be done by people who would commune with the powers of the material nature through their consciousness, and then they could manifest them themselves. And these are all forms of attachment to the material energy. So bhukti, mukti, siddhi, kami, sakali, all these people, ashanta, they're not peaceful. Only somebody who's given up false ego. And so Bhagavad Gita gives us perspective. A perspective, or helpful perspective, is to see, or I'm suggesting, it's helped me today, is to concede everything. It's like, okay, I've been put in this life to realize something. I'm going to step out of it and see what I look like walking through the various duties that I have, the various relationships that I have, and I'm going to look at it from a completely different perspective, and that is that I've already left my body. I'm just looking back in and watching. How are you going to do? How are you doing it? And I'm thinking of it in retrospect, in that I'm going to go back and fix whatever needs to be fixed and adjust, refine whatever needs to be refined. So I'm just testifying before you today. This is my testimonial. Do you have any responses? Questions? Yes. Hold on, we'll give you the yellow mic. That's for our esteemed guests.
I can kind of relate to a lot of those requirements. Giving up desire, it seems achievable, maybe. But at the end it came up with giving up false ego, nirahankara.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a altered state.
Yeah, but it's a really good altered state. Let me first talk about desire. Were you finished? I can start with those. In thinking about this consciousness experiment today, in fact, driving down here, a verse came into my mind. It could be relevant. It says, Kamadinam katina katita palita durnideshas tesham jatamayina karuna natrapa no pashanti utsrijaita mata yarupate samprata labdha buddhis tamayata sharanam apayamam yukshma vadasye. Such a beautiful prayer by a soul who has realized that material desires are an entrapment. And whatever we claim to be ours imprisons us in this world. And this person uttering the prayer is reviewing how things have gone by living desire to desire, trying to fulfill various desires. So he says, Kama dina katina katida palita durnideshas. Durnideshas means these desires have been my masters. But what kind of masters? Bad masters. If anybody's ever had a bad boss, ha 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 ha. And then he says, I'm reviewing what it's gotten me, which is no time off, no mercy, no real fulfillment at all. They've never done any for me. And I've never questioned them. I've only pursued these desires, and they've done nothing for me. I've tried to do everything for them, and they've done nothing for me. So he says, Utsri Jaitanata Yarupate Samprata Labdha Buddhis. He said, but now I've gained my intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence, as you know, and Labdha means to gain. So he says, I have this inspiration now. I've gained this intelligence that my desires have been misdirected. Now, Utsri Jaitanata Yarupate, he's thinking of Krishna. He's thinking, Krishna, I want to serve you. So my desires are going to be to fulfill your desires. That's how one deals with desires. We can't stop desires because it's the nature of consciousness to be active. And activity means desire, followed by an endeavor to fulfill something. But as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, he gives us this formula that works every time. It's bhoktaram yagatapasam. He says, desire for me. Think of how you can give to me and serve me, and have your desires based on what my pleasure might be. And gyatva mam shantam richati. Again, he mentions this word shanti. He said, if you do that, then your desires will make you happy. You'll be satisfied by that. So that's about desires. And then the idea of giving up, did you say it, false ego? The ahankara. Yeah, that's what I was experimenting with today. Think, how much will people care after you die? I mean, life goes on, right? I remember 9/11. We live close enough to the San Francisco airport that we can see planes coming and going. And they stopped for 3 days, I think. Or maybe it was only 2. But it sure was less activity than normal. And I thought, okay, that's it. Everything's going to stop. And then a minute later, I thought, nah, they'll be right back. Whatever it takes. You know, like ants. If you accidentally turn on your hose and it floods an area in your yard, have you ever seen this? And all the ants come up because there's a flood going on. They just rebuild. They're powerful ants. They don't drown. They just rebuild everything painstakingly and methodically, and they go back to it. Living entities are relentless because they're always alive and always going. No matter where you put them, they always make a comeback somehow, and they emerge out of any material condition. And so, how did I get there? But anyway, I've been talking about death. And I know this is a family show. What'd you hear in church today? Yeah, it was all about death. Kanka wants to say something. Please go ahead.
Hi, Krishna. That's the most interesting thing that Maharaj Yudhisthira, just when he was at the lake, he said, people cannot think that they're going to die. They go on and on and on, and they don't realize that, like you said, when you're born, that's the sure thing is that we're going to die. And then the other point I wanted to make is that Prabhupada would talk about being actors on a stage, that we're like actors, so we can't be attached to our roles. We have to be detached, and that can help become peaceful if we don't take it so seriously, each role that we have and whatever happens to us.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting back to. Thank you. Those are 2 very important anecdotes. That if you think about your own death, and this is something the Upanishads do for us, is Vayura nilam amritam atedam bhashmantam shariram om krito smara kritam smara. You got to work with me here a little bit. Krato smara. Yeah, he's alive and he's speaking and he was saying, oh, I'm imagining my body as bhashma, ashes. That's a nice meditation because once you do that, yeah, I know this is a heavy class. Once you do that and you realize, what is it like? What if everything was burned to ashes? I remember Sean Penn. You know the actor, Sean Penn? No? Yes. He was married to Madonna? Yes. Was. And a long time ago. His house burned down in Malibu. There's a big fire there. And he was on public radio, and it was an interview with Terry Gross, and she was asking him, so your house burned down, what was it like? And he goes, well, all those nagging duties you're supposed to do and all the papers, and you have notebooks full of stuff and the to-do list piled up, and you got so many things that you're supposed to deal with, and all those drawers you wanted to clean out. She goes, yeah. He goes, I don't have that anymore. I'm not advocating for nihilism, just like wipe everything out, but I am about changing perspective. And your point about the false ego, it's practice seeing what the Upanishad says, like, what if my body turns to ashes? how does life go on after that? In fact, there have been books and writings where people come back and they visit themselves after their own demise. I think some of it's one of the themes of It's a Wonderful Life. Yes or yes? Yes. Nobody's seen that, except for Malini and a couple of people, because I told them to. Person feels completely overwhelmed by his life, and then he's just about to commit suicide, and an angel comes. And the angel's duty is to save him. So the angel, they're both standing on the bridge, the angel jumps in the water, and then preempts his suicide attempt, so he jumps in to save the angel, and then the angel says, I'm going to show you what the world would have looked like if you were never born. And he takes him around and shows the consequence of his life. And there's a sort of otherworldly, out-of-body sense, because he's going around to all the places he knows and people, and seeing how different everything is. And nobody knows him, because he's not him anymore. He's taken out of the picture, so you got a different perspective. You view it from far away, and you see that vanishing point where everything becomes simple. And so there is a point at which we can realize that carrying the false ego around is complicating my life. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, work on this. Trinad api suni chena toror api suhishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari, which basically means practice leaving your ego behind and see how your life is without false ego. You could practice that for an hour, right? 3 people said yes? Vedant's smiling like, what are you talking about? I don't know, that's what he's thinking. But what if you just left your ego behind? Say you go home and you're with your spouse and you left your ego behind. For 10 minutes. Could you do that? Would things change in your relationship if you left your false ego behind? And if I'm in a corporate scene, everyone's going, yeah, well, everyone will just take advantage of me. All right, so the whole world's going to take advantage of you anyway. Every microbe is trying to eat away at your flesh right now anyway. That's the nature of the world. But Lord Chaitanya said, you want a new perspective? You want to see the vanishing point where everything becomes simple? Give up your false ego. Practice this. He says it in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Nirmana moha jita sangha josha. The first word is he says, if you want to understand the world, he says, nirman. Leave that sense of man, that everything's mine, leave it behind and see how you do. And the astonishing point is you do much better. The way you approach your work, the way you approach whatever happens to you, including reversals, becomes a lesson for you, because you're watching it from a dispassionate state. You're not fully absorbed in it and tied to it. It's like, oh, that happened to me, and why? And I'm a victim. And so these are powerful principles, and they're there for everyone in the Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Prue. We'll give you the honorary yellow mic.
Prabhu, clarification on which desires I'm giving up. All desires? How about desire to do my best for the duty?
Let's readjust the premise. You're not giving up any desires, but you're shifting your desires from my satisfaction to Krishna's satisfaction. So let's give an example. Let's say that you're cooking. And when you're cooking, you're thinking, I'm making this as an offering to Krishna. Now, can Krishna eat it? Absolutely. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati taraham bhakti paritam ashnami paritatmana. Oh, I see 2 up on the board. 1 second, I'll be right to you. He says, if you offer me something with love and devotion, I'll eat it. Ashnami means he'll eat it. He'll taste it. And so there's a really big difference between, fine cooking for oneself and fine cooking for Krishna. Because the cooking's there, the activity, the desire to make something, but you're thinking, I want to satisfy Krishna's senses. And that's the main point. That's the switch. When you turn that, that's when people feel peaceful, happy, and there's a vanishing point. All the complexity goes away. You have a different perspective. And that can be done with everything. Therefore, one of the definitions of the process of devotional service is given by Rupa Goswami, where he says, Sarvo parivanir muktam tat pratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktir. That use all your senses in service to Krishna. And when you do that, your senses become purified and you become happy. Okay, we have Subhadra, and is that Devavrata? Yes. Wow. Okay, talk about different perspectives. Subhadra, go right ahead.
Well, I was thinking about what you were saying in relation to duties after
To what?
you die. Doing you like when your friends
After you're dead,
left,
and then you just right.
and they
okay.
have duties.
Yeah.
And also you talk about momentum sometimes. So I was thinking of it in relation to momentum. Like I have a friend who's also gravely ill, and I was thinking it must be hard when you're always concerned about taking care of your family, and then you face the prospect of leaving, and then you're kind of worried, what's going to happen to my family? I won't be able to serve them anymore. But then I was also remembering how when my mother-in-law left her body, Hridayananda Maharaj said that devotees don't sweat the geography. He said, Shamapriya wanted to serve Srila Prabhupada when she was here. And when she, wherever she goes, I'm confident that she's going to want to serve Srila Prabhupada. And so I thought that was a nice way to think about. I mean, I'm sure my friend's also thinking she's taking care of her family for Krishna. But like, we have to be so careful to make sure that our momentum we're building up is serving Krishna. And like, just even chanting Hare Krishna, we're like human beings, not human doings. So we also want to be in this space where we're just meditating on like serving and being with Krishna. So that's the momentum with them. Anyway.
Thank you, Subhadra. Some very helpful points. I'll expand on one of them. One of the overwhelming senses people have, I will say overwhelming emotions people have before they leave their body is, how are things going to go on without me? And there's an answer to that. Do you want to hear what it is? Yes. Just fine. And that, that's why I brought up that point about the airplanes. You think, oh no, what's going to happen now? It's like, they're going to start flying again because nobody can stop doing something even for a moment. And if you take yourself out of the equation for a minute, because there's a tendency to think everything's going on because of me, otherwise it's not going to work. And nobody's going to be maintained properly. But death is such a equalizer, because you just say, okay, let's take this player off the board and see how the rest of the pieces go on. And they just go on. So, unless it's the king, or the queen, I forget which, I don't play chess. So, those types of emotions arise from this sense of false ego. I'm holding everything together. This is my family. All the finances are up to me. Whatever happens. And it's not a license to be irresponsible and not take care of your duties, but it's a perspective that gives you greater ability to work in the world with a clear-headed idea about how to do service and how to do your duty properly. Devavrata Prabhu, you're up.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Just on the basis of that, I have one thought. There's a quote which says, the graveyards are full of indispensable men. Mm. So I thought of that after you explaining on Subhadra's point. But one thought that I was having this week was specifically in relation to Bhajan Ryan Maharaj's passing, because I've watched a few memorial services, specifically the one in Vrindavan in LA about him. And I was just thinking how many devotees were expressing how they would go on without the presence of such a person. And I was thinking how when a person leaves, everyone generally misses that person. And there's like a process of grief, a process of denial, and there's a whole grieving process which unfolds, which has been documented by psychologists. But I was thinking that there's also a process which one has to go through in dying, and probably what they're departing from, because the people who are watching the person die, they're only parting from one person. But the person who's dying is parting from many things. And so it gave perspective to me to think, okay, well, if I were to die right now, what are the things which I'm going to be missing, and have I adjusted myself in such a way that I can step out of the room, so to speak, and be okay with it and accept the next phase or the next service which has to come. So this was a thought I was having this week in relationship to Bhajanarayan Maharaj's passing.
It's me too. It's the same thing. Except my experiment was, let's just take me out now. I'll just pretend I'm dead. I just turned to ashes. But now I'm back here. Nobody sees me, but I'm here and I'm doing everything. But now it's just going back and looking what I can put back together again that I didn't do right and so forth, what I could have done better. From a detached point of view, we're much more adroit at dealing with the world. And we are shanti. We're peaceful because we don't have a stake in it anymore. It's already over. And if we can start from that position and do our duty, which is really what Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, is consider this perspective. You'll be more compassionate, you'll be more expert in everything that you do. Because you're not overwhelmed by the complexity of it. It's become a simple equation or a simple vantage point, which is contracted into one point, otherwise known as the vanishing point in art. Yes, Vrindasevika. We're going to stop this in a minute and have some really joyful kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I've noticed, like, while trying to be detached from bhukti, mukti, and all siddhis, like that tendencies, I've noticed the tendency to become indifferent to while performing your duties. So even people like, well, at work, for example, they notice this. You're not passionate anymore about this goal, like in the company or something. It doesn't drive you like anymore. So I'm just trying, like, and if you can't relate it directly with satisfying Krishna, like call it your company or something, how to find that balance, like be dispassionate. But
well, there's always service. And there are different stations in life and different opportunities to learn how to think of Krishna as one's doing one's work. And life changes over time. I had a business for 10 years, and I leaned into it. And I remember the last phone call I ever made. I've said this before, but it fits here. And I was halfway through the phone call, I said, I'm never making another phone call like this ever again. I'm not going to try to convince somebody to take something or make a move, that anything that's not Srimad Bhagavatam, just forget it, that's it. And I knew by the time I hung up, I was like, okay, that's done. Thank you, Krishna. Finished. Whatever comes, that's it. And we'll have that experience in this lifetime by practicing Krishna consciousness. We have lessons to learn at every level. When everyone's depending on us in the family or in our job, we have to be there, and otherwise, what are the circumstances? Of course, from another perspective, we kind of don't have to be there in a sense. Some people just say, like, okay, I'll do something else. I'll just serve Krishna. So from whatever vantage point we're in, we can always learn how it's affecting us, and we can also experiment with seeing how it feels to offer it to Krishna. And when it becomes rote or completely boring, we won't be able to abide in that for very long because we're pleasure seekers. We want joy, right? That wasn't very enthusiastic. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we just want to be happy. Living entities just want to have fun. That's Cyndi Lauper. So, you know, that's who we are. We're faked out by this. It's a prison house, the material world. And it's said so in the Bhagavatam that if you don't have Krishna consciousness in your house is a prison. I was driving here and I was thinking, this is the most boring architecture in the world. I'm sorry, but it is. I mean, they blew it here in Silicon Valley. Everything's a boring box. It makes me want to barf. I mean, you look at the cars, they're squares. You look at all the buildings, they're just squares. And now they're building all these apartment complexes to get in there, you know. You want electric, you want gas, sorry, you get electric, you know, keep it, you know, that's your destiny. Is get in there, and then you go to work, and there's another box, and then another box in a box, and then you have to look at a box, and the whole thing's just, it's a prison. And we're entrapped in a body that's like a box. It's an embodied situation where we're locked in. There is a way to get free. That's the Bhagavad Gita, big announcement to the world. You want to be free, free your consciousness. You're holding on to something. You don't have to. Serve Krishna. Transfer your desires to serve Krishna's senses. And it's joyful. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Raja Vidya, Raja Guyam, Pavitram Idamutaman, Pratyaksha Dharmyam, Susukam Kartamam. He said, this is the most fun you're ever going to have. And it keeps increasing. It's Susukam Kartamavyam. It's eternally a pleasurable experience to be in Krishna consciousness. And that's what Srila Prabhupada brought. And everyone saw him and they said, I want to be like that. Because he's working, he's flying, he's dealing with millions of dollars and writing letters and everything's going on. And he has desires, but they're all to serve Krishna. And did he enjoy it every moment of his life? Yes. Even in the complexity, he was happy because he was doing it for Krishna. That's the secret of life. And it's non-sectarian. It's a principle that's in the Bhagavad Gita. It has nothing to do with some religious process that's restrictive. It's meant to free everybody from this confinement of limited consciousness, contaminated by the idea that I'm going to be happy on my own without Krishna. So on that note, we can chant Hare Krishna. So chanting, yes? Another question? Please, go right ahead. I'll give a really short answer. Did you have something more? Okay. Do the China thing for a change. Yeah, this is called Upanishad. Sit up closer. That's proximity is one of the spiritual practices. Move in as close as you can to the sound vibration. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Saridora Bhaktivinoda. If somebody thinks they can play the tambourine, it's a real bear. I'm taking a break from it because I'm getting carpal tunnel. But if you can keep a downbeat with that thing, then more it'll add to the kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Premanande Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Shri Harinam Mahamantra Ki Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Gaur Premanande Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Well, we got our work cut out for us because we have to take care of our own minds and senses. That's a full-time job. And until we do that, then it's very difficult for us to lead or help others. If we put in an ounce of work a day on our own practice of Krishna consciousness, if we can experience some peace from handing over to Krishna what already belongs to him, and if we can experience our own sincerity each day, it's good to get back in touch with, because something started us off on this path. And people often become waylaid because they forget what brought them in the first place and why they're doing it. In fact, not just in Krishna consciousness, in anything that we do, we can become unconscious and bored with the process, and we want to move to something else. We have to get something. Spiritual practice is real, and what we're looking for is fully available, but it is helpful to put in the work. In fact, one of my favorite sayings, it's amazing how little you get done when you're not doing something. Because oftentimes we think about it, but we don't actually practice it. So it's okay to give yourself to this process. In fact, it's the most recommended thing that you can do, is take your time every day, plan it out so that you don't miss this. And if you can get one molecule of experience that Krishna is directing your consciousness, that he's informing you, that you feel a sense of the order of the universe, that you see some beauty and it overwhelms you, whatever it may be, Krishna's in everything and he is everything. They're all his energies. The only thing separating us is our own awareness of him. So Krishna consciousness is not something foreign to us. What's foreign is being in misery and being in anxiety. That's what is it? What? Anomaly. Thanks, that's a good word. It's an anomalous situation. So In a few minutes, we're going to practice one of the main tenets of bhakti, which is dancing. Tonight's a dance party. And we noticed when we traveled recently, those of us who went to South India, we were traveling around like a bunch of vagabonds from one place to another, staying wherever they put us, jumping in vehicles. We didn't even know where we were going. Well, we knew where we were going, but we didn't know how we were going to get there exactly. We just go. And one of the things that kept us going was we were reading in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita about Lord Chaitanya, who went to South India by himself, and everywhere he went, he danced. When he went to temples, he danced before the deities. It's a beautiful thing to do. Sometimes we isolate it and think, well, that's for, Bharatanatyam dancers. No, it's for everybody. The Bharatanatyam and the whole culture of dance everywhere comes from this sense of human expression of the heart. The aesthetic behind it is very beautiful. And spiritual practice should be visceral. One of the most visceral experiences is dancing for Krishna while chanting his names. So don't miss it. Some cultures, people, like oftentimes when we go to corporates and we do the Hare Krishna mantra, everyone sits there like this. They go, okay, let's get up and dance. And once they get up and dance, they go nuts because it's so nice. They go, you mean we can do this? No, it's recommended. So we're going to have a Hare Krishna dance party. We do this also down at Lytton Plaza. If you really want to have some fun, come on down, because once every month we have this huge festival down there, and people come off the street to dance. We have a big sign, a neon or a sign that's electric, and a digital. It announces "Never miss a chance to dance." And so a lot of people want to jump in because they don't get an opportunity. But here's our opportunity. This wood floor, notice, this is springy. It's got a little give to it. It's not marble hard. It's not going to hurt your feet. And if you want to dance step, it's really simple. I'll show you really quick. This is called the Swami. You just cross one foot over the other like this. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Can you see? You think you could do that? And there's other variations of it. But another thing, if you try putting your hands up, it opens your heart, and you can give your heart to Krishna. And if you have any complaints, just complain to Krishna. He's the only one who can fix anything anyway. So don't complain to other people. Just tell Krishna, my life is horrible. Could you please make me happy? And then he will. And you just put your hands in the air. And just now, we're going to pick up all these asanas, put them back in all the containers. We'll roll up this rug really fast. And if you have a couple extra minutes when we finish that, then just introduce yourself to somebody that you've never met before. We have face recognition on these cameras, so if you're talking to a friend, we're going to bust you. And you'll be washing pots in a few minutes. Okay, we'll see you in a minute, right back here on the dance floor. Ladies on this side, men on that side, we'll see you there. Hare Krishna. Jayo Jaya Gaura Krishna. Jayo Jaya Gaura Chandra. Jayo Jaya Gaura Chande Aroti Koshoba
Shiva Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Aroti Koshoba
Kiba Jaya Jaya
Gaura Chande Aroti Koshoba.
Janavitatavane Jagamana Loba Janavitatavane Jagamana Loba Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arati Koshoba Kiba Jaya Jaya Gaura Chande Arati Koshoba Jagamana Loba Jagajanamana Loba Jagajanamana Gaurangera Shobha Jagajana Mana Loha Gaurangera Shobha Jagajana Mana Loha Hari Bol, Sai Gaura Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Dakshine Nitai Chan Vande Gadadhara. Both on. Both.
Ratna Simhasane.
Madhur, Madhur, Madhur Bhaje. Kanka Bhaje, Kanta Bhaje. Madhur, Madhur, Madhur Bhaje. Madhur, Madhur, Madhur Bhaje. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaura Hari Bol. Koti Chandra Jini
Vadana Ujala
Gala Deshivana Mala Kori Jala Mala Shiva Shikhanara Vivedadagara Bhakati Vinora Deke Gaurara Sampada Shiva Jayo Jaya Gaura Chande Adoti Koshoba Jagita Vare Jagamana Loba Madhur, 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 Madhur. Jaga Jana Mana Loha. Shiva Jaya, Jaya Gauda Change, Arati Prashobha. Shiva Jaya, Jaya Gaura Chande, Arati Prashobha. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To the Swami now. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hadaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Hadaya Nama Hari Hadaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Hari Hadaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Hari Hadaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Govinda Jai Jai Gopala Jai Jai 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 Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jai Jaya Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Gaura Hari Bol Jai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Jai Gaura Hari Bol Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribhajkaracharya Ashtottara Shatashi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribhajkaracharya Ashtottara Shatashi Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj ki Ananta Kota Vaishnavrinda ki Ramacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham ki Shri Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham ki Tulsi Devi ki Bhakti Devi ki Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Can I have? Thank you. So we have a request for prayers. Our Her Grace Manjari Gopika Mataji's grandmother, Ishwari Mulchandani Mataji, she left her body yesterday. She was 94 years old. So we request all the devotees to please pray to Shri Shri Narsinghadev, Lakshmi Narsinghadev, Shri Shri Mahaprabhu and Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan. If they so desire, please protect her and give her shelter at their lotus feet. Thank you for considering the request. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasinghaya. Namaste Narasinghaya. Prahlada Hiranyakashipurakshah Hiranyakashipurakshah Shilatankanakalaye Shilatankanakalaye Ito nisringho parato nisringho Ito nisringho parato nisringho Yato yato yamitato nisringho Yato yato yamitato nisringho Bahe nisringho Ridaye nisringho Bahe nisringho Ridaye nisringho Nara Sringhamadim Sharanam Prapade Nara Sringhamadim Sharanam Prapade Tava Kara Kamala Varenaka Adbhuta Sringha Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanuvindam Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Keshavadhita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki, Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande.
Can I have a volume on yellow mic, please? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. We welcome you all to the Sunday Feast Festival here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley on such a sunny Sunday and the first Sunday of the daylight savings. So let's thank everyone who has joined us today evening. Hare Hare Bo. We'll also like to thank all our online viewers as well. Please give them a big round of applause. Hare Bo. Today's talk and discourse was brought to us by His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu. Let's express our gratitude and thank him for an excellent discourse tonight. Hare Hare Bo. We'll also like to thank His Grace Vaisesika Prabhu for leading an ecstatic Gaura Aarti. Haribo! And His Grace Bhakta Dhruv for leading Narsingha Aarti. Haribo! Anyone who is coming here for the first time? Thank you. Even I see some new faces, maybe they just stepped out, but thank you for coming and thank you all our regular devotees for joining us today's Krishna Katha here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. So let's chant all the newcomers to bring the auspiciousness in their life and on all our lives. Let's chant one Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We have quite a few number of sponsors for today's feast. We'd like to acknowledge them. Our first sponsor is His Grace Brajaras Bhavana Prabhu. He is sponsoring on the occasion of the 7th day of his grandfather's leaving his body. He left his body 7 days back, his maternal grandfather. And he is sponsoring on the behalf of, to honor his passing away. Please, Brajaras Bhavana Prabhu, thank you for sponsoring the feast. Would you like to say a few words?
Hare Krishna. My family requests everyone's prayers for my grandfather so that he may have a safe passage on his journey. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, here is Mahaprasad, the gift. Thank you. Hare Krishna. And our next sponsor is His Grace Hari Sankirtan Prabhu and her guest Radhika Prema Mataji are sponsoring on the occasion of Krishna Priya's birthday. Where is Krishna Priya? Hiding. Hari Bol, yes. We almost don't recognize her, right? She was so short and she just grew up now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Priya. Wish you a very, very happy birthday. Would you like to say a few words?
Hare Krishna. I just pray for all the blessings of the devotees so I can continue on a good journey to Krishna.
Haribo. And what is the best thing you like about ISKCON of Silicon Valley?
The community and the Kirtan.
Haribo, the community and the Kirtan. Haribo. And Mahaprasad. Thank you. And the next sponsor is also for a birthday, and this is the first birthday. Her Grace Brajanath Prabhu and Her Grace Champaka Gopi Mataji are sponsoring on the occasion of Bhavya Radha's first birthday. Haribo! While they come, we'd like to announce the next sponsor, Shipra Agrawal Mataji. As you know, she is sponsoring all throughout the February and all the Sundays of March. So let's thank her for sponsoring the feast today also. Haribo! And Her Grace Krishna Prabhu is also sponsoring today's feast on the occasion of his great uncle, in the honor of great uncle who left his body recently. So let's thank him for sponsoring the feast, and let's pray to his Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan, Sri Sri Lakshmi Narsingha, and Sri Sri Mahaprabhu, if they so desire, to grant him shelter as their lotus feet. Thank you for considering the request. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Champaka Gopi Mataji and Rajanath Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you for sponsoring the feast. We can't believe that Bhavya Radha is already one. You know, she was born here at ISV. As you know, a lot of ISV kids are born here. Actually, devotees are getting married here in the community. Now we are having the babies, and you see a lot of kids are coming into ISV. It's our good fortune. They are very, very special kids to actually get born in this community. Very fortunate. And thank you for sponsoring today's feast. And we are very, very happy to celebrate Bhavya Radha's first birthday here at ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Thank you. Would you like to say a few words?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. We are very fortunate to be here at ISV under the guidance of His Grace Vaisesika Maharaj and Her Grace Nirkala Mataji. We humbly, kindly seek your blessings for our dear Bhavya Radha, that she grows up to be a nice devotee and always serve Lord and His devotees, and that she is always attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, has association of wonderful devotees like yourself, and has friendly relationships with everyone. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. I'll have a Mahaprasad and a gift. Yes. Thank you, thank you. And we will like to invite Atharva for announcing to today's cooks. Atharva, please announce today's cooks.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today's cooks are Ujjvala Rasa Mataji, Achyuta Prabhu, Rima Mataji, Manjari Gopika Mataji, Uttara Mataji, Kanaka Mataji, Manjari Mataji, Anil Prabhu, Arun Prabhu, Sri Ram Prabhu, Rasa Amrita Prabhu, then Tadiya Seva Prabhu, Sarisha Mataji, Aditi Mataji, Lalita Mataji, Chaku Ben Mataji, Navin Prabhu, Bhavika Mataji, Prajakta Mataji, Apramay Prabhu, Janika Prabhu, Kanha Prabhu, Rishi Prabhu, Ajay Prabhu, and Ruchi Mataji.
Thank you, Atharva. Very nice reading. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Is there any other announcements that I'm missing? Any other sponsors that I'm missing? Okay, if not, we will go to Prasad Sevya prayers over to the youth corner.
Sharira vidya jodendriya kraheka jive file vishaya sagore kamati jivayati lobhamoy sudhamati take jita katina samsare Krishna badodoyamoy karibare jiva jai Swaprasadal Dilobai Seyanamrita Radha Krishna Gunaga Premeda Koshri Chaitanya Nita Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave Svalpa Punyavatam Rajan Vishwasone Vajayate Sadhi Sarva Dukhanam Anirasya Pajayate Prasanna Chetaso Yashu Buddhi Paryavatishtate Tvayopa Bhukta Shagandam Chita Uchishta Bojino Dasa Stavamayam Jayemahi Shushkam Paryushitam Vapi Nitam Vaduradeshata Prapti Matrena Bhuktavyam Natrakala Vicharana Nadeshani Amasata Nakalani Hamastata Praptamanam Tudam Shishter Bhuktavyam Adirat Pravir Bhagavad Shri Mahaprasada Ki. Please come take prasadam. Hare.
So it's a nice weather outside. You can have prasad outside, but you are also welcome to have prasad at a temple hall. But be mindful that we request you to vacate the temple hall by 6:30 p.m. Hare Krishna. Thank you for considering the request.